So I literally put it on my to-do list in my chief year, my senior year of medical school. I need to get married. So I put out a call to, my family members. I'm like, I'm ready. Set me up with whoever you can. So I was in California doing my neurology rotation, and I kept walking down to neurosurgery because I was so bored in neurology. It was like depressing. And I met one of the neurosurgeons there, and we went out to lunch about a week into that rotation. And he said, so what are you looking for? And I said, well, I want someone who's educated. I'm educated. I want someone tall. I'm tall. All this stuff. And he's like, okay, well, I have a friend. You're here for 3 more weeks. You'll have a good time. But just so you know, he never wants to get married. I said, okay, whatever. I'm going out with everybody. Whoever sets me up, I don't care what they look like. I'm going out with everybody. So we went out 8 times in the first 10 days, and we were engaged in 3 months. And it was interesting because I met him literally 3 months before our rank list was due. And he basically said, either you rank USC and rank nowhere else, and we get engaged, or you rank everywhere and we can't get engaged. So I ended up crying, soul searching, trying to figure out what to do. And eventually, I decided to pick a family. I said, you know what, I'm never going to find a guy like this again. I'm going to choose him, and if it doesn't happen, I'll become a business person, I'll go to law school, I'll do something else. So I was walking up to my dorm room to go look on the computer to see if I matched somewhere, which would have been USC. And the dean called me right as I was walking up to my building. And the only time the dean of the medical school would call you is if you didn't match and they had to figure out where to scramble you in. Maybe there was a program that didn't match fully and they could sneak you in there. And so I just dropped everything on the floor and I said, oh my God, I didn't match. And he's like, well, it's weird. You matched into a 1-year spot. Now the code for USC Plastics was a prelim code or a 1-year code, even though it was for the whole thing. And I'm like, no, I got it. That's the code. And he's like, I'm so confused. What are you talking about? I'm like, no, I got it. It was one of the best matches the medical school had ever had. My husband was doing a brain aneurysm clipping, which was a very dangerous surgery at the time. And he told me, whether you match or don't match, don't call me. I'll call you when I'm done with the surgery. So of course I call him. And I told him, I'm like, and the nurse is holding the phone to his ear while he's like clipping someone's brain aneurysm. And I was like, I matched. And he goes, very well, thank you. And so what I did is afterwards, I made him fly out to New York, and he re-proposed, because that was like a happy proposal, whereas the other one was like, what am I doing with my life proposal. So that's the story.